So what I have here today is the new Xiaomi Mi 144Hz curved gaming monitor. Join me as I do an unboxing and a first impression of this monitor. Before we go to our monitor, let us first check the other things included in our package. First, we have the user's manual that is both in English and in Chinese. The manual contains more detailed specification, mounting instructions, as well as descriptions for both the button and the OSD. Next up is our base, which has a plastic housing, and I'm not too sure if it has reinforced steel inside or just a very sturdy plastic. Here we have next is the stand and mount. It has a similar plastic housing, but nonetheless, both the base and the stand doesn't feel too cheap and looks strong enough to support our monitor. Then over here, we have the included DP cable, a power cable, a thumb screw for securing our stand to its base, and lastly, these two are used if ever we will wall mount our monitor. So installing the base is fairly easy and at the same time toolless. First, with our base, check the bottom part of it as we are going to match it with our stand. Fastest way to do it is to flip the base, then align the stand directly until you can slot it in properly. Then with the included thumb screw, screw it in together using the screw handle, but if your hands are a bit large for it, then get a regular screwdriver and just screw it in. Once we assemble the stand, attaching this to our monitor is also effortless and can be done in under 10 seconds. But before that, let us first take a look at our display's I/O by removing the magnetic rear cover to access these ports. First is the HDMI 1 and HDMI 2. These two run at HDMI 2.0 compliance for our 144Hz. Then we have the DisplayPort 1 and 2. These ports run at DP 1.4 spec and can support higher refresh rates if ever you wanted to overclock your monitor. And lastly on this side, we have the audio combo jack. Going to the other side, we have the AC in for our power. So going back to our monitor installation, I just need to pop the rear cover back, slightly remove the cover film just enough for the slot to be unobstructed. Get the stand and slide it in following the guiding holes until you hear it snap. And that's it for the installation. Once we're done with the mounting, it is time for the unveiling of this sexy curvy monitor. Going to our monitor specs now, this is a 34-inch 21 by 9 aspect ratio monitor with a resolution of 3440 by 1440. Refresh rate is at 144Hz and a 4 millisecond gray-to-gray response time according to Xiaomi. Brightness is rated at 300 nits, contrast ratio is at 3000 to 1, and Xiaomi also claims that this has a 121% sRGB out of the box. Sadly, I cannot test it as I don't have the proper calibration tools. Screen curvature is around 1500R and I was able to adjust to it easily coming from a 27-inch non-curved one. AMD FreeSync Premium is also supported here, and while not listed in NVIDIA certified G-Sync compatible monitors, my unit was able to run the G-Sync over Adaptive Sync just fine. I didn't notice any tearing while playing R6 Siege even while on slow-mo mode. VESA mounting is also supported if ever you opted for a wall mounting setup. As for the SRP, you can easily find this monitor for around 20,000 to 21,000 Philippine peso. That is roughly around 400 USD and that is tax inclusive. And for availability, locally you can easily get one through Lazada And if I remember correctly, the official store for Xiaomi in the Philippines also just released it recently. Next up is the included stand, and this stand can do a number of things: height adjustment, tilt, and as well as swivel with around 75 degrees turn. The stand also has a great cable management feature wherein you'll just simply pull the magnetic tab to expose the cable pass-through, then insert both of your display cable as well as your power cable, then close it up for a neat and tangle-free setup. A slight wobble is present, but unless you nudge it intentionally, the monitor itself should be still and fine. Going to the monitor's OSD, which by the way is in Chinese for its default language, but changing it is quick and straightforward. Navigating the OSD is reachable within the buttons at the back, and also most of the options here are fairly standard: your usual brightness, contrast, color controls, color preset, and as well as the FreeSync toggle. More nifty options including response time, overdrive, MPRT toggle, noise reduction feature, and finally its own multi-screen setup. For the multi-screen setup feature, it is functional in a way, but it seems I can't properly adjust the resolution on the split screen mode, and it either goes understretched or overstretched. Picture-in-picture mode is a bit better, and I can see some use of this, especially if you are working and want to watch some video over YouTube. And this could also be a bit good for those game streamers, as you can have the smaller screen for your chats instead of going for a second monitor. The only problem I can see is that the resolution is predetermined and there's only 3 window sizes for the second screen. Though personally, I won't be using this feature as I enjoy the big screen space of an ultra-wide monitor. But before I discuss my first week experience, just a quick reminder that this is not gonna be a comprehensive technical review, so don't expect a hardware unboxed level of results and benchmarks. And with that out of the way, let's continue with my impressions. Prior to this monitor, I have been using my BenQ XL2730Z, which is a 27-inch 144Hz TN panel before it broke down. And like I said a while ago, adjusting to this monitor was fairly fast. It only took me a day or two to adjust, not only in casual usage, but at the same time when gaming. Bigger screen real estate is a huge upside for me, as editing and multitasking are much easier as compared to my older monitor. I also feel that the vibrance is a great upgrade as compared to my older TN panel, and as for ghosting, I haven't really noticed it yet, but running the ghosting test shows that there is a noticeable amount of ghosting when paused while running it at 960 pps. This was done on a medium response time overdrive preset, as usually with other monitor reviews, this should be the best balance between getting a decent gray-to-gray response and lesser chance for overshoots. Backlight bleeding in my unit is on the more acceptable side. Most of it are from the top portion of the area. And unless you are in a very dark room, this shouldn't be a big of an issue. My monitor is pulling 47 watts off the wall at 80% brightness, and this should be a normal power consumption among ultra-wide monitors. To close this video out, I really like my first week with this. A great budget ultra-wide monitor with decent specs. I'm just hoping that this monitor would last me for quite some time, as one of the bigger issues for this monitor is warranty support. Since this doesn't have a direct distributor locally, warranty claims might be very hard or even non-existent. I'm also hoping to see HDR support on future revisions and USB ports, as I personally use them for my peripherals for a neater desk cabling. I think that is for today's video. Would you consider getting one? Also, if you have any other question, feel free to comment it down below. And if you find this video useful, go hit that like button, and also do subscribe to my channel for more first impressions like this. Once again, this is Brain of Junkyard Summit. Thank you and see you in the next one.